Hi, welcome to Easy WordPress Websites. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install WordPress on Hostgator hosting and get started building your WordPress website. Remember, building a website is like building a house. You need good land to build on, you need a street address, a mailbox, and of course a house. In website world, that equates to needing a hosting account that you can depend on, a domain, an email address, and of course the website itself. We recommend Hostgator hosting, and if you use the coupon Easy WordPress at hostgator.com, you'll get 25% off when you check out. Again, that's the coupon code Easy WordPress. Let's get started. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to install WordPress, create users, adjust the general settings, give you an overview of the dashboard, show you how to add content like pages and posts, change your theme, your sidebars, your menus, and your widgets, add plugins, and tell you what are plugins in the first place, which ones to use and how to find new ones, and tell you what you should be writing about once you have your website created. Then we'll show you how to integrate your site with the most popular social networks so that you can bring traffic to your site. Let's get started. We'll go to hostgator.com, where we've already purchased a hosting account, and this is our cPanel. Just scroll down to the section that says Software and Services and click Quick Install. You'll see in the list of services on the left, WordPress. Click on that and click Continue. Once you've done that, you'll see a list of all of your domains and subdomains associated with your hosting account. We have lots of them. You may only have one or two. We're choosing myforeverlegacy.com as the URL, the domain, that we'll work with for this demonstration. Type in the email address that you'd like associated with this WordPress installation. The title of your website, we'll call ours Demonstration. The first name and the last name of the person installing WordPress. You can change all of this information very easily within your WordPress installation, and we'll show you how to do that. And then just click Install Now. Once you've done that, you'll see a green bar run across your page that shows the progress of your installation. This may depend on the speed of your internet browser as well as your hosting account. This process is very similar for different hosting services, not just Hostgator. And as a matter of fact, if your hosting account offers a cPanel, then it is exactly the same. Congratulations, your installation is ready. You can access it now by going here. So we're going to click on that and open it in a new tab. And you'll see, here's our demonstration website. So already in less than 5 minutes, we have installed WordPress, and we're ready to log in. Now they sent us some login information to the email address that we entered in this admin email address. So we're going to go and we're going to check that email account really quickly. And there it is, successful installation. Click on that email that you just received and you'll find some login information. Copy the username and password and come back to your site. On the right side, you'll see a link that says Meta, and then right below that it says Login. Click on that login link. You'll be taken to a place where you can input your username, which to start with is just admin, and then you can paste the password that you were given in that email. And this is what we call the dashboard of WordPress. When you first log in, you'll see this dashboard every time. You can move around elements on your dashboard just by clicking on them and dragging. You can collapse them if you don't want to look at them. You can even change how many columns they display in simply by clicking 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, or 4. If there are certain elements you don't want to see altogether, you can just get rid of them just by checking them off of your list. What's on your dashboard here does not affect the function of your website. These are just quick little reads and updates about how your website is doing and other WordPress news that give you a quick glance into your website. For example, the first one is called Right Now. It shows you how many posts, pages, categories, comments, what theme you're using, how many widgets you have, and what version of WordPress you're using. The second one is called Comments. It will show you the most recent comments and whether they're waiting to be approved. So you can see some of these will be very helpful. Some of them maybe not so much. If you're a small business, you might not want to know the latest WordPress news, or maybe you do. At least you know how to get rid of them if you don't want them there. The very first thing that we want to do now that we have our WordPress installation complete is to change the default user. When we just installed WordPress, the first user created was called admin. We want to delete that. We want to add another administrator to the website and then log in as that administrator and delete this admin user, because hackers and things like that know that the very first user created on a WordPress installation is called admin. And so we want to go and get rid of that option. It's just a safety precaution. It's like, let's make it challenging one bit more, just a little bit more, for people who might try to harm your website to do that. And if getting rid of that first user that everyone knows is called admin is an easy thing to do, then let's do it. And so let me show you how to do that. Over here in the sidebar, all of these areas are expandable. You'll see a tab called Users. It's third from the bottom. Let's expand it, and we'll click on All Users. Once you do that, you'll see a list of all of the users that you've created that have access to administer your website. Right now there's just one, this admin user. Well, what we want to do, we are going to create a new user by clicking Add New, and we need a new username. For this example, I'm just going to say Demo, and we'll just really quickly, we'll use one of my email addresses. Just fill in this information just as it asks, all the way down. And you want to add this person as an administrator. In WordPress, there are different roles for users. An administrator obviously is an administrator of the website. They can change everything about the website, the content on the site, how it looks, how it functions. An editor can do a little less than that. They can edit existing pages and posts and other people's content on the site. An author can author their own information and edit their own information, publish their own information, but not other people's information. A contributor can contribute to the site, but their information or their post and pages or their content they might contribute has to be reviewed or administered before it can be published. And a subscriber, most basic websites won't have a need for a subscriber, but I'll show you a function later where your site might need to allow users to become subscribers. So when we create this new user that will be an administrator, we want to go ahead and send the well, I don't need the password, but you might want to send the password if you need it. You can go ahead and click Add New User. Then what we want to do is log out and log back in as this new user that we just created. Once we've done that, let's go back to Users and delete that first user. And we do that just by checking off their name and clicking Delete. Now, anytime you delete a user in WordPress, it will ask you, well, what do you want me to do with all of the information that that person created? All of their posts, their pages, their links. Do you want me to delete it, or do you want me to attribute it to another user? We're going to go ahead and say attribute it to the new user that we created. And this list would be a list of all of your users if you had more than one user. So we'll check demo and confirm deletion. So now you can see we have one user. The user's name is demo, but the email address is my email address, and we want it to be the email address that matches the website. And so we're going to go back in. Did you see what I did just now? You can edit the information for that user just by hovering over their name. And so we're going to change it back to email@myforeverlegacy.com. And then just update profile. This is a very important first step. Don't skip it. Delete the admin user and make sure that you have this new administrator user created. Okay, now that we have done that, there are some basic general settings that we want to adjust for your site. You say, well, how do I actually get to my site? Now that I'm looking at I'm in my dashboard area, I'm using it, how do I get to my site? Okay, see this word right here? The title of our site is demonstration. If you hover over it, you'll see it turns into a hyperlink. Well, you can open it that way. If you click on it, it will take you to your site. So now we're looking at our site, and you'll notice at the very top of our screen an admin bar showed up. And this admin bar allows you to edit your profile. You just click on that and you'll be taken directly to the page that will allow you to edit the profile of the logged in user. You can go directly back to the dashboard, which is this area. You can click on a link that will allow you to easily add a post, a page, some media, which some of these things you may not even know what these are yet, but I'll show you. A link, a user, add a new theme or a new plugin to moderate your comments, or even to look at the themes, the widgets, the menus, the background of your site, and the header. We're back at the dashboard now, and what we're going to do now is just adjust some very basic general settings for the site. And the way that we start that is to scroll all the way down to the bottom and click on the tab that says Settings. These are the general settings for your entire website. You'll see the first one is Site Title, called Demonstration. If you wanted to change the title of your site, you would do it right here. Demonstration Website. If you wanted to change the tagline of your site, which when you look at the demonstration site, you can see the tagline shows up right under the title of the site. This is different per theme. And a theme is the look and the feel of your overall site. In WordPress, you can change the theme of your site very easily, and I'll show you how to do that in just a few minutes. But whether or not this tagline displays on your website changes based on the theme that you're using. And so keep that in mind as you're looking at your site. That tagline right there may or may not show up on your site. It will show up here in the title bar where it says Demonstration, Just Another WordPress Site. It will show up there, but it may not show up down here in the actual design of the site. Now this is what I advise. For example, the name of my company is Angie Meeker Designs. But what I do is WordPress website design, internet marketing. You know, I have a few services, a few specific services that I want people to be able to find me for, and that are also very search engine important to my business, that are keyword heavy or keyword important. What I recommend is that you take those few services or those few keywords that are important to your business and put them first in the site title. So for example, for me this would be WordPress website design. Using cabinetry as an example, it might be for you custom cabinetry, kitchen cabinetry, bathroom cabinetry, and then you might list the actual name of your company right after that. And then after that, one last thing, I would put the name and the city and state of your company immediately after the name of your company. So you see you have three elements here. You have these strong keywords of your business services, then you have the name of your company, and then you have your city and state of your company. That is what I personally recommend for the site title to help you with your search engine rankings. That's what I recommend. You don't have to do it that way. There are various opinions about what works best there, but that's what I recommend. Okay, so this WordPress address, site address, and email address, you don't have to change those things, but if you do need to change your email address for this website, that's where you would change it. Membership, again, basic WordPress websites, you don't need to change the membership because you're not allowing anyone to register. The time zone, you need to change the time zone for your site to match where it is that you live. You can look through the site and choose the city that is closest to where you live that matches your time zone. And then you can choose the date format, the time format, and what day of the week you would like your week to start on. And then just click Save Changes. Remember to save your changes. The next setting we're going to look at is called Writing. The size of the post box, and say, what's a post box? How do I even know what to set that setting to? Well, when you're adding a post or a page, basically any type of content to your site, you'll have this big box right here where you can type content, and what it's asking you is, how big do you want that box? Do you want it to be 20 lines big, or do you want it to be 30 lines big, or 10 lines big? That's all. It's just asking what's your preference. The default is 20 lines, and that's perfectly fine for most people, and it will scroll. If you start typing in here and you get a bunch of text in here and you fill it up to here, you'll see a little scroll box, a scroll line over here where you can scroll down and see the rest of it. So 20 is fine for most people. You can set your default post category. Post categories are, I'll explain them more later, but let's say you had a site on flowers. Let's say your site was just about flowers, and you wanted all of your default articles to go into the category called flowers. That makes sense, right? Every article that gets published on your site is going to go into an article category called flowers. So you would just choose that from that category. The post format, you don't need to worry about those right now. We're not talking about those in this tutorial. In the default link category, we're not covering in depth in this tutorial, though you will understand how to use that by the time that we're done. All the rest of this you can leave just like it is and click Save Changes. Reading. This is one of the most one of the most misunderstood aspects of WordPress for people who are not familiar with WordPress. Many people think that WordPress is just a blogging platform and that you can't use it as a static website or as a content management website. And so many small businesses think they can't use WordPress for their small business because they don't want it to just look like a blog. Well, it doesn't have to look like a blog. You can set right here, this example, in the demonstration site, the very front page does have a blog post on it. It doesn't have to look like that. You can set your front page to just show a page. It doesn't have to show blog pages. And here's how you do that. This setting says front page displays your latest post or a static page. If you wanted to display a static page, you would just select the page that you wanted to display. Now, so far in this tutorial, we only have one page to choose from on our site, and so sample page is the only one to choose from. If we had clicked that, then we would also have the choice here to choose what page we wanted our post or our recently updating articles to display on. Because if we're not going to show our post or articles or blog posts, whatever it is that you want to call them, on the front page, well, do we want them to display on some other page other than the front page? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. That's really specific to your business. But you would be able to create a page and then choose that page here. So maybe you want to create a page and call it blog or updates or newsletter or something like that, and you want to put all of your recent articles on that page. So that's how you would do that. You would just choose it. And if you don't even want to use that blogging feature or the ability to write, updated articles, don't use it. Just don't even put anything here, and that feature will basically just go away from your site. So then it's asking, on your blog pages, if you do choose to utilize that feature, on the pages that show blogs, how many blogs do you want to show on, how many articles do you want to show on one page? You can make this whatever you want it to be, 10, 5, 4, whatever works for you. Do you want it to show the full text of the article or just a summary? And then remember to save changes. Okay, discussion. The great thing about, one of the best things about WordPress is that you can allow people to read your site and to comment on what they're reading. But you can moderate those comments, you can administer those comments, and you can turn those comments off to varying levels. And here's where you would do that. As you read through these, some of these are common sense as you're reading through them. Default article settings. Attempt to notify any blogs linked to from the article. So let's say you've written an article, and you linked to another site from within your article. Do you want to try to notify that other website that you linked to it? Well, yes, you do, because you're linking to that website, and that website may be linking to you, and another website linking to you, and websites linking to each other is part of what creates search engine juice and lets people find each other. It's part of what makes the internet great, and you want to let people know when you're linking to them. Then it wants to know, well, do you want to be notified? This next one, allow link notifications from other blogs. Those are called pingbacks and trackbacks. Do you want to be notified when other blogs link to you? Well, yes, of course you do. Don't you want to know when someone else is talking about what you've written? Yes. Do you want to allow people to post comments on new articles? Well, that really depends on what you want to get out of your site. If you don't want to allow people to post comments, just check it off, and people won't be allowed to post comments on new articles. Now, that only if you started out your site allowing people to post comments, and then you somewhere along the way changed your mind and decided that to not allow them to post comments, checking this off will only affect the new articles. And I'll show you later where to go back and mass change all of the previous articles so that you can't comment on them anymore. So we're going to go ahead and leave that on because we want people to comment. You have comment settings, like do you want the comment author to fill out their name and email? Do you want them to have to register before they can comment? And this is where there were some settings in general about what, are users allowed to register, and if they are allowed to register, what should be their default role? Well, if users have to register before they can log in and comment, then you have to make sure that under the general settings that users can register and that the default role is set to subscriber, because subscribers can't do anything to your site basically except for comment. So you have to make sure that default role is set to subscriber if basically all that you want to do is make sure that users have to be registered in order to comment. You can close comments after certain days. You can enable nested comments so that when one person replies to another who replies to another, it shows up sort of indented down the page, which is kind of nice. You can break comments into pages, based on how many comments are on each page, so that you don't have to scroll and scroll and scroll to read 50,000 comments. You can be emailed whenever anyone posts a comment or whenever a comment is held for moderation. You can choose whether or not an email has to be approved by an administrator before it's published, or whether or not an author, a comment author, has to have a previously approved comment before their comment will automatically publish. So you see, you have lots of options here around how comments are published on your site, and you have a lot of control over it. You can choose to moderate particular comments that have certain words or URLs or names or all sorts of things in it. You can even choose to automatically mark comments as spam that have certain words or IP addresses or emails in them. You can choose to display avatars on your site. WordPress uses gravatar.com as its default avatar service, and so if you want your picture to show up very easily and neatly next to your comments, then you can register at gravatar.com with your email address and then upload a picture to be associated with that email address, and anywhere WordPress is, basically your picture associated with that email address will show up when you make a comment. Alright, so then remember to save changes. Media. These settings under media, you're just going to leave them alone, because as they are, works fine with the majority of uses for WordPress. But I'll tell you what they are just the same in case you need to use them with your theme. Image sizes. You know, when sometimes when you're reading something on the internet and there's a very small picture. Let's see if we can get back to a post or a page here. Oh, I think I got rid of it. I did. Let's see. Here we go. You know, sometimes when you're reading a post on the internet or an article and there's a very small picture right here next to the article itself, and when you click on the picture it expands the picture larger, or it somehow links into the article itself. Well, that's called a thumbnail, and the default size of that thumbnail is set right here. The default is 150 by 150, which is perfectly great, and that's standard, and the medium size is 300 by 300, and you can see it just goes up by there. And these are standard sizes. You don't need to change those. They're perfectly wonderful. Auto embeds, when possible, embed media content directly from a URL. So for example, if you have a YouTube video that you want to display on your website, you can go up and copy the URL that is displayed at the YouTube video and paste it directly into your post, like right here, and we'll do this later. You can paste it right here into your site, and when you update it, the video itself will show. And this is asking, do you want to do that? Do you want to automatically embed videos and images and things like that that have embed codes with them? So you have the maximum embed size. For this, you can leave that just as it is, and again, click Save Changes if you make any changes here. Privacy, you have two choices here. It says you can make your site visible to everyone, including search engines, or you can block search engines but allow normal visitors. I don't really know why you would have a website allow normal visitors but block search engines, but I guess you have that options there. You have that option. Permalinks. If you are someone who is watching this video, you probably don't need to change these settings at all. You probably will get really bored if I tried to explain to you what these things are. You can read this information yourself if you'd like, but know that you don't need to change these. You can leave them just as they are and everything will be good. Okay, and Super Cache, you can leave that as it is as well. Okay, well, that is the first video of the Installing WordPress series. So now we have installed WordPress and we have adjusted the most basic settings for WordPress. In the next video, I'm going to give you an overview of the dashboard and start showing you how to create and add content for your newly installed WordPress website. Thank you.